What's up, Marvel fans? I'm Steven from the Hills Maniacs, and Marvel will be releasing its newest MCU movie, Captain America: Brave New World, which takes place after the events of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So now, Falcon or Sam Wilson is the new Captain America, and I guess in this movie he confronts Red Hulk, which turns out to be Thaddeus Ross. All kinds of stuff that looks like is going to be happening based off of this trailer and that sort of thing. So I kind of wanted to talk about some MCU characters that I think might be appearing in the movie that haven't really been confirmed to be in it yet or that weren't shown in the trailer. Just some characters that might be connected to the story or some of the characters that are going to be in the movie, like Sam Wilson and that sort of thing. So those are the kind of characters that I've picked out. I've selected 4 of them that at least I can think of that might be like on Earth at this point or that aren't in any other projects that are coming up or whatever for the MCU that I think might at least make a cameo or something along those lines. So here's my list of some other MCU characters that I think could appear in Captain America: Brave New World. So like I said, in this movie, based off the trailers and everything, we can see that at one point in the movie, Sam Wilson is going to be fighting the Red Hulk. So with that in mind, I think one of the characters we are going to see make an appearance in this movie would be Bruce Banner, or Smart Hulk, I guess is what he is now. Just because I think Sam is probably going to ask for his help, either calling him in to fight Red Hulk so that he can take down the other villains in the movie or whatever, or he'll ask Bruce, like, is there a way that I can defeat, like, how do I defeat a Hulk kind of thing, because it doesn't make sense necessarily that Sam Wilson should be able to withstand a fight against one like a Hulk. He's not like Thor, who can easily stand toe to toe with Hulk like we've seen in the past. He's not, even Iron Man was able to put up a fight, but this is just Sam Wilson. Like Cap wasn't really, I don't think he ever really fought the Hulk anyways. But I don't think even Captain America could have fought against the Hulk without being severely injured in the process. I know he's a super soldier as well, and that's another thing too. Sam Wilson isn't a super soldier, so like seeing him go up against a Hulk in this movie is kind of bizarre to me. It was kind of weird that they chose this to be the movie that Red Hulk appears in instead of just making like another Hulk movie or something. Or just making him appear in something else that the Hulk is featured in, like maybe an Avengers movie or something. But I do think that Bruce Banner will show up in one way or another. Either Sam calls him, like I said, or maybe Bruce just hears about what's going on and shows up to help. We know Bruce is on Earth, I believe, as far as the end of She-Hulk goes, because he showed up on Earth with his son Scar, or Sakar, I forget how it's pronounced, which he apparently has, that he got him from space somewhere, or whatever planet he came from, that he went to in that show to get him. So he is on Earth at this time, so I think maybe a cameo from Bruce Banner or from the Hulk, I guess, or having him come in and fight Thaddeus Ross while Sam is doing something else, I think kind of makes sense to me. Just because I think Marvel isn't going to sell us on the fact that Sam Wilson can survive an attack from a Hulk. So like I think they're going to have to come up with a way for him to be able to beat him, and I think what better way to do that than for Sam to call on his old Avengers buddy, the Hulk, for either advice or to help out in that scenario. I think that seems pretty likely in my opinion. Just based off everything we've seen so far. And you know that Bruce would do that, especially given his history with Thaddeus Ross, as we saw in the first Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk, that had Edward Norton at the time playing Bruce Banner. So I think he definitely would show up to fight against him. Not only that, but also Samuel Stearns, or the leader, is going to be appearing in this movie, and he was last seen in that as well. So I think you have that connection there as well, so I think that would make sense for Bruce Banner to show up in this movie. Another thing we saw, in the trailer for this movie is the fact that they are fighting over, or the government is trying to acquire the adamantium, I guess, which was mentioned in a recent trailer. But the adamantium they're trying to get is from the celestial Tiamat, who is, as we last saw in Eternals, is kind of just a statue at this point in the middle of an ocean somewhere on Earth, and that was never really brought up again in the MCU that there's just this big celestial being just in the middle of the ocean, just frozen there. No one ever really talked about it or anything until this movie where it's being referenced. So with that in mind, I think we might see an appearance from at least one of, if not all of, the Eternals, just because of that whole, they're fighting over the body of the Celestial that's there, and I think maybe the Eternals that are left on Earth, at least from the end of that movie, some were taken away. So if there's any left on Earth, I think maybe they would try to protect the celestial body or something, or maybe the Eternals are hiding out there and they get into a fight with some of the humans or whatever. I don't think they play a big role in it, maybe a cameo or something, like where someone's trying to, like if Sam Wilson is trying to understand what this thing is and maybe one of the Eternals shows up or whatever. I do think that's kind of likely because of the fact that, Marvel is bringing Tiamat back into the MCU, like it's being talked about again and it's actually making an appearance in the MCU again. So I think that's kind of likely that they would have someone from the Eternals movie show up, whether it is the Eternals themselves or even Dean Whitman, who becomes the Black Knight. I guess we saw him in that movie. He was like the human that was interacting with the Eternals at the time and fell in love with Circe and all that stuff. So like maybe he could make a cameo as well. Like just somebody from that Eternals movie, I feel like is likely to pop up in this movie just because of the whole Tiamat thing, but it might be just a brief cameo or some kind of post-credit scene or something. I don't see them playing a major role in the movie. And honestly, I haven't seen Eternals since it came out really, so I don't remember if there are any Eternals still on Earth or not, but as far as I know, there were some, unless they all just flew away. But even if they're not, I think they could come to Earth if they find out about the humans are fighting over the celestial body. Like maybe that'll be how they get the Eternals back into the MCU or something. I don't know. I just feel like there is that connection there because of the whole Tiamat thing. Up next is a character that was last seen in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, along with Sam Wilson and, of course, Bucky Barnes and all the other characters from that. That's Sharon Carter, who we found out is actually the Power Broker, which I guess is a character that's trying to acquire powerful objects, or even something that could make someone a lot of money, whoever she's working for, whatever. We found out that Sharon Carter is actually working for somebody as this power broker, or she is the power broker or something like that. But so she's kind of a bad guy, I guess, or at least she's working with someone bad, like whoever that turns out to be. I don't know if we'll find out in this movie or not. I do think Sharon Carter could make an appearance, especially given that the government is trying to gain this adamantium from Tiamat. I think that's something that the power broker, whoever that may be, wants for themselves. So I think they would send in Sharon Carter to try and get that. And of course, Sharon has the ties with Sam Wilson, so she might go to him to talk to him about it or whatever, or try to get it from him if he ends up with it, or something along those lines. I just feel like because there's a lot of different MCU things going on in this movie, like the connections to the Hulk and everything, like there's all these different characters that could appear. Why not bring a character that was last seen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and has ties to Sam Wilson that could play a role in this movie as well? And we even saw that Benjamin Braddock is going to be in this movie as well, who was the super soldier that we saw in that show as well that Sam was introduced to. He will be in this movie. I think he tries to kill the president or something, so there's kind of a mystery there, like why did he do that or whatever. So he was in that, and since he was seen in that show, I feel like it makes sense that Sharon Carter might make an appearance again, maybe in a post-credit scene or at some point throughout the movie, or maybe she helps Sam do something in this movie, but it's also for her own gain or for the gain of the person she's working for, the power broker, or that sort of thing. Like just them tying her into this story, I think makes sense given her history with Sam Wilson and just even Steve Rogers and everything. She was in the last 2 Captain America movies, I believe, so why not put her in this one as well, since you can't have Peggy Carter, obviously, so maybe just have her show up in this one as well, just to play some kind of role and continue off the story that they left with the cliffhanger at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier with her character. And then finally, this is a character that I think I just want to see make an appearance because we haven't seen him in a while, since really Avengers Endgame, and that is Steve Rogers himself. Now, obviously, he is still an old man in the MCU at this point in time, and we don't really know what happened to him after Endgame, if he passed away because he was just old age or whatever, or if he's living somewhere peacefully or whatever. I would like to see him make some kind of appearance in this movie, like just as a cameo or a post-credit scene or whatever, just so we kind of get that clarity and the closure for his character. Like, we know what's happening with him, what he's been up to since Avengers Endgame and stuff. They kind of teased that a little bit in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, like some of the people in that show were theorizing what happened to him, where like that he's living on the moon or whatever. So I think that would be an interesting way to kind of call back to that and give us a look into what Steve Rogers has been up to, and maybe he could even pop up and like give Sam Wilson advice on being Captain America and what that's kind of like, because we didn't really get to see him do that. He just kind of hands off the shield to Sam Wilson and like, here you go, go out on your own and you get to be Captain America now, you know. And we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier that Sam was struggling with wanting to be Captain America because he didn't feel like he deserved to be, or he didn't feel like he was good enough to be, and by the end, obviously, he did embrace that. So having Steve Rogers make an appearance to maybe get him back on his feet or something, like maybe he's doubting himself as Captain America in this movie or something, having Steve Rogers come in to give him some advice, I think would be a cool thing for the fans to see, and give Chris Evans that supposed return as Steve Rogers that, you know, he apparently has been rumored that he's going to have. That could be a nice little cameo to do that, where he can come back as Cap, but it's old man Cap again, so he's not playing a huge role in the movie, but it would give it a nice little friendly moment between Sam and Steve, you know, the old Captain America and the new Captain America. But there you go, guys. Those were some other characters from the MCU that I think could make an appearance in Captain America Brave New World. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Are there any other MCU characters that you think might make an appearance? And also kind of drop your predictions on what you think might happen in this movie or by the end of the movie or whatever. Let me know all that down in the comments section. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. There's a lot of Marvel content coming out this year, so we'll be talking about most of it if we get the chance to. So keep an eye out for any of that if you are a Marvel fan. Thank you for watching the video, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.